Say my name, say my name. No one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. If you ain't running game. Say my name.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:50. We've got one of our favorite people in the studio today, etiquette expert Diane Gottsman. Great to have you here as always.
Thanks for having
Austin. Holiday parties are coming up, maybe some business events, or you're going with a spouse, or just for fun. You're going to be meeting a lot of people, and often we forget names. It just happens.
Such an awkward moment, but you know, the good news is it's a fact of life. We all forget. So here's a few tips to remember.
You'll start off with, you have here on your list, immediately say the name out loud after the introduction to clarify pronunciation.
So when you hear their name, you just repeat it back by saying, it's so nice to meet you, Amanda. It's great to see you in person, or, you know, something to connect using their name. And this is a good time if you don't understand their name, either their first or last, to ask them again, to ask them to clarify it.
Well, especially because we have so much diversity in this world. Utilize their name tag.
So here's a tip. The name tag goes on the right side to follow the line of sight of a handshake.
I didn't know that.
Yes, so my eye will go directly and naturally to your shoulder, and that way my eyes aren't darting across.
Let me see
even
if I can
though
find
we don't know their name, and they know we don't know it. It always feels like a disconnect for me to have to keep looking across. And that way I can keep looking at that name tag. I can utilize that name tag. It's your friend. A name tag is your friend. And I can look at the way that you spell it, and you can even, if you're visual, like I'm visual, I can visualize their handwriting and I can see their name. You know, that's just another little technique, is you visualize it.
Oh, wow. Use word association. That's kind of like studying.
So here's a funny story. My first job, my boss's name was Mr. Salinas. His daughter's name was Amanda. So if I were to meet you at our networking event or holiday party, that would be a way to remember. I'd say, okay, Mr. Salinas had a daughter named Amanda, and I would put them together, or whatever, however your learning style is. You know, you might think of somebody, my assistant's name is Risa, and she says that people remember her because of Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces,
Totally get it, because she's bubbly and colorful, and so, you know, whatever works for you.
Right, something to trigger that in your brain. Repeat the name in conversation.
So even though you repeated it when you first met them, continue to repeat it every few minutes. That way you remember. And then you repeat it again. And then guess what? Mid-conversation you forget. So just own it and just say, okay, I just went blank. Please remind me of your name. Because when someone else walks up and you have to introduce them.
Oh, I know. Often we use that as a trick too, you know.
Yes.
It's like, oh, this is my friend Jane. This is, hi, I'm Jack. You know, whatever. That was really bad.
Yeah.
Take an interest in particular details.
The more you talk to them, the more details you find out about them, the more you're going to remember them, because there's going to be something there. There's going to be a memory trigger. They may have a dog that has the same name as your dog, or they may live in the same neighborhood, or they come from the same another city that you grew up in. So the more you engage in conversation, it's going to be easier for you to remember. It doesn't mean that you're going to remember their name, however.
No, but you might remember that person. Sometimes it's easier to remember a face or a personality or a memory. And last but not least, create a spreadsheet for new contacts.
Well, think about it. When you go on these multiple job interviews, you go home and you have this Excel spreadsheet or whatever works for you, and you put the name of the company, things that you want to remember so you can follow up with. Do the same when you're going to these holiday parties or networking events, so you remember, I met Amanda Salinas at this party. She mentioned that she had 2 kids. I mean, these sound like tiny little details, but it will help you remember because you're reinforcing it. You're looking at it visually, you're writing it out physically, and it's just one more way to remember.
Well, especially if it's a business situation, like you say, not so much a social, this is my friend's party, but a real networking event.
Absolutely. And you never know. Even social fun parties sometimes turn into business, and certainly it takes that awkward moment away when you know you're going to meet a bunch of people and you want to remember them because you want to follow up. It's just an easy, all of these are tips. Some may work for some, others may be stronger tips for others. So anyway.
Now, this isn't on our list, but what about business cards? We carry them. I still carry my business cards, and if I meet somebody, pass it out, or we exchange business cards. What do you say about that?
So the protocol of the business card is, socially you don't hand out a business card because it feels like you're trying to
get somebody's business,
get their business. Socially, you don't hand it out. Corporately, at the end of your conversation, offer it to them and say, I'd like to give you my business card. I was going to say credit card.
No, not
That
that.
too. So, but you don't ever ask a senior executive for their card. You know why? You can find them.
Oh, yeah.
You should be able to find them.
Especially in this day and age.
Yes.
All right. Our etiquette expert, Diane Gottsman. All of this is going to be on our website under the Good Day Austin tab.